Hello humans and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. I've been wanting to make this video for a very long time and it's been very difficult, let me tell you. It's been very difficult because I am a father. And not only am I a father, I'm a father of young people, you know, the age of Apollo was at the time. And I see a wasted life, I see wasted potential, I see a person who had a hard childhood that was dealt some pretty crappy cards. And when he needed his friends the most, when he needed counsel the most, you know, he didn't get it from everybody he needed it from, you know, and at the end, you know, it led him to this path. Now his actions are his own, you know, I'm not going to sit here and blame anybody else for what he did, but I wish you would have seen the positive things that he did in his life in greater focus. I wish people would have let him know what things he did that were positive, not just the negative. Anybody makes mistakes, guys, especially when you're young. Especially when you're young, it doesn't matter what kind of mistake. You want to crucify the guy for having friends that weren't angels, maybe even shitty people. Let me ask you out there, don't you have some friends that are pretty shitty people? Of course you do. You even have family members that are pretty shitty people. And deep down in your heart, you want to change them. You want to make sure that they become better people. The way you do that is you don't cancel them. You counsel them. Right? You uplift them to a better place. But not on the internet. In YouTube, there are no real friends, let me tell you guys. You learn this the hard way. You could be buddies one day and the next day you become content. Because it's all about the views and to get them in any way possible. It doesn't matter how. Some people just want to be famous regardless. Like one Karl Jobst, for example. Of what the cost is. Now, let me tell you, this decision here that he made was the best decision to make. Am I saying this because I'm a Billy Mitchell fan or because, you know, I hate Karl Jobst? No, absolutely not. I don't hate anybody. I laughed at this whole thing. And usually my videos are a lot more jovial, but I can't because this is so serious what we're going to talk about in the way, you know, people view things. Remember, guys, what other people think of you is none of your business. Don't let it affect your work. Don't let it affect your joy. Right? I even tell this to even Karl Jobst. Hey, if a video I made makes you feel bad, let me know. I'll take it down. That's my standard. I don't want to contribute to anybody's, you know, struggles. Even if I hate you. Even if I hate you. If I hate you and you tell me, hey, you know what? That video hurt my feelings. I'm not in a good place right now. And you're serious, the video's down. That simple. But this is not, you know, the world of YouTube. Many people feel the way I am, but most people don't. Especially when you foster communities of engagement where negativity is what sells. Let's face it, any video that's negative is going to do better than a video that's positive. Now, when it comes to this man made the right decision for him because this, for example, in the U.S., it's not Australia. If you take a case to court and you spend $200,000, let's say you win. Let's say you win. You're never seeing those $200,000 back. Now let me ask you out there, what would you rather have? $200,000 or the adulation of, I don't know, 100,000 people for a couple of years? I don't know about you, but I'm taking the 200 racks. Right? If you're an idiot, if you're an absolute moron, you wouldn't want internet glory. But that's what some people want. Let's hear from Karl Jobst.
Jace, dude, I think you don't want to. I made it quite clear that he shouldn't have settled because you know.
This is a Twin Galaxies case, by the way.
Imagine being the person who beat Billy Mitchell. I mean, you're forever immortalized as a hero.
You're immortalized, but not as a hero.
Yeah.
So you want to be the person who takes Billy to court and wins. And even if that costs 100, 200 grand, that's worth it for like the goodwill of the public forever.
This is this man's mentality, right? This is why he's almost 2 million in the hole. Right? I don't think you need to be a lawyer. This is not legal or financial advice, by the way. But I don't think you need to be a lawyer to know that this, this kind of thinking is like having your head up your ass. But this man's here on video, and the other YouTubers agreeing. Right? These are people that have millions of views. This is what people are watching. This is what's being promoted. This is what's popular. The absolute worst thing to do, they're saying it's great. The reason I don't take things seriously from a lot of people that disagree with me is because I know what you support. I know what you support, so I don't care if you cheer for me, right? I know what you cheer for, so if you boo me, that's okay. But for Apollo Legend, I wish he would have known, right? And that was the biggest sticking point to me, is like, why did Karl Jobst accuse Billy Mitchell of something that he knew his friends were doing? As a matter of fact, Karl Jobst was going to do a downfall of Apollo Legends video. If I'm not mistaken, he had something on his Discord about that. But he contributed to Easyscape's video. The guy that on the day that Apollo put his note out is like out there, help, please. No. Why didn't you talk to him the day you made that video? Why, if you really cared about him, why not, instead of making a video, you talk to the man? Right? If a man has these kind of struggles and makes it public, what do people do? Make videos on it instead of reaching out. Hey, you know what? I don't want to be part of the problem, dude. Tell me, it's not that serious. Let's talk about it. Let's put it in a different point of view. And I didn't know anything about this young man until I saw Maris Meme's video. And this section right here particularly, right, gave me just the context of the state of mind that he might have been going through at the time.
Regardless of an apology in the past or not, me and Apollo had to be mentally ready to fold. When we figured out how deep this got, he wanted it to just be about the video game cheating, but these drama posters brought their toxic personalities into the overall. I just feel like it, even he has stated this, it felt like it ruined our research, and it detracted and derailed from it, so it broke me.
At the end of the day, these were just kids having fun. Right? This is the way I see it. Kids having fun in something they were interested in. They were finding all this dirt and all these people that are doing speed runs that are, bad people and, people from the past or what have you, things that can't be verified. Now, those are two different communities, guys, and I'm not going to get into the nuts and bolts of it. But these are two kids that were having fun and producing content that people wanted. But for a sector of the community, that's never good enough, right? It needs to be more. They need to know where you lived, what you did, who you married, what's the worst thing that you've ever said. They need to know everything. They can't let just people be, right? They need to cancel you for anything, for your politics, for your religion, for your sexuality. It doesn't matter. Guys, it's out there. And again, look, guys, other people's opinions, they're none of your business. They're really not. There's always idiots on the internet. And the more salacious things they say, the more attention they get. To them, it's about the views, nothing else. Hell be damned. Right? If by destroying you, if by saying the worst things possible about you, they get attention, that's what they'll do. Right? These people are sick. They'll make some, horrible accusations. And in the same video, they'll be promoting products, right? Oh, this video sponsored by, so-and-so. Or, hey, buy my book. This guy's a complete, whatever. And please buy my book. I just wrote this other chapter. I mean, this is the kind of human garbage that we're dealing with. Right now, as we speak, Lus is getting death threats. against his daughter, not even against him, against the baby. Against the baby. Show me the frickin' video that people are posting saying, hey, maybe you shouldn't do this. I haven't seen it from Karl Jobst. You guys tell me. If there's a video you should make, if there's a post you should make, it should be that one first. Regardless of what kind of beef you're having with the guy, might as well have it out, in the open if that's the case. But these are the kind of environments that this young man was dealing with. And unfortunately, even though he made the right decision for him, right? Because he didn't want to end up like this idiot over here, right? Over $1 million in the hole. And even Karl Jobst, guys, has the right to redeem himself. He hasn't shown any contrition whatsoever. Absolutely not. He's still in the hellholes of his Discord, right? And now he's being victimized by the same environment he created, because these guys are not helping him. They're making him look worse. As these Discord things are coming out, who do you think is going to collab with this guy? No one. All these Fairweather friends, right? Do you think they're Penguin Zero and some ordinary gamers and Camelot 331, do you think they're going to hold a charity stream for him to help him pay off his bills? Hell no. Because now he's stained. He lost a case. Nobody likes a loser. Plus, you have all these things on Discord. Goodbye. That's it. Because the moment he goes onto anywhere, the same crew that's lighting him up on social media is going to be right there to remind everybody of all these crappy stuff. But he deserves redemption just like anybody else. Depending on what you believe. To me, Roman Catholic, I have to give him, right, that grace, and it's not for me to give, it's for the Lord to give. But anybody, guys, nobody should go into the depression. Nobody should go to these lengths because of a failure that they had in business. And even, to me, the biggest thing is I wish that Apollo would see what difference he made to the world, how he inspired so many young people. Easyscapes, he made you. Right? Anybody that's doing these kind of videos, he made you. Karl Jobst, he made you. Karma came to collect. And different societies see it differently. Right? And let me tell you, I wish he would have seen that he had fans. He had fans, in other countries. And when they refer to this situation, they don't refer as, only his failure. They refer to the betrayal, because loyalty, for Hispanics is a big thing. And they point out the betrayal
Escape y Dark Viper aún por llevarlo al límite, ya que ambos habían hecho videos acusándolo de mentir e inventar detalles sobre los ingresos publicitarios de YouTube, y lo criticaron por supuestamente inventar historias sobre otros speedrunners.
So there he's pointing out the stories that were telling about him that they were inventing, right? Or he was being accused of inventing. But the gist of it is he was betrayed. Betrayed by his audience, betrayed by his friends. I think that's the tragedy here, right? And to say that you're going to be, I will never back down, right? Was the party was the party that was going to be thrown after he won the case? Was it going to be about Apollo Legends? Was it going to be to honor Apollo Legends? No. It's not. Am I going to sit here and say that Apollo Legends was a perfect person after his demise? I'm not. Nobody is. I'm not. Nobody is. We're not supposed to be, guys. We're supposed to make mistakes. The way you get better is by making mistakes and moving forward. The reason Karl Jobst is going to get better is because he's going to move past this, if he's able to. I don't know that he is. He hasn't shown any, measure of contrition. But if he ever does become better, it's because he's going to overcome his biggest mistake, which was that. But this young man never got the opportunity. This young man, everybody turned on. And I wish he could have seen the difference that he made in other people's lives. Your focus determines your reality. If he would have been focused on, if it wasn't for me, Would this community be as prominent as it was? I don't think so, because I've never heard of anybody else, any of these people before this. But Latin America knew about Apollo Legend, right? His reach was great. He did some good work. He was just a kid having fun. He didn't know that he was going to walk into this whole toxic environment where he had to justify every single part of his life to anybody. Guys, you don't have to do it either. If you need help, reach out for help. Reach out for the right help. But if you're doing something on YouTube that you know is good and decent and people don't like it, or they want to criticize you for your religion or for your political points of view or for your sexuality, it's very simple. Tell them to fuck off. Do your work. Have fun. Enjoy life. What a shame. What could have been. All right, humans. I will catch you on the next one. Take care.